While I was sitting down, it was just a big pool of blood, and I was just thinking, all sorts of stuff were going through my head, and I was just thinking about my family, like my parents, and my sisters and their kids. I was just like, I'm not ready to leave them yet. Yeah, so. I'm Richard Hobbs. I grew up in Stirling North, just out of Port Augusta. I grew up out on a property. At the moment, I guess footy's getting me through. So I'm getting out training, helping Matt with the A grade as much as I can, and just getting around the boys and everyone. I'm a carpenter by trade. The accident happened when I was working at a small town, country town called Beltana, about 40 k's south of Lee Creek. We're basically building a new shed. I was working overhead, bolting up the sea channel, and as I was doing it, the ladder had slipped down the wall on the rocks, and as it slipped, it's a split second, I jagged my arm onto a metal bracket, cut through my nerves here and into my main artery, and it jammed up like that, and as it hooked in, it wedged my arm. So I was basically hanging about 3 meters in the air, probably to my feet, and I was dangling there, and I just was screaming out to Matt. I grabbed the top of the column with my hand and sort of lifted myself off. Didn't know what to do, and my blood was just squirting out like a water pistol. I just knew straight away that I'd cut my main artery, and I was just trying to wedge it with my hand. I was just yelling out to Matt, like, I don't want to die out here, it's too much blood. And he wrapped it up as good as he could. We just used towels and duct tape, and all I concentrated was on my breathing, and we jumped in the work ute. We got to the Lee Creek Clinic. The nurses in there, they had their Christmas dresses on, and they were like, oh, it's the first time we wore a dress all year, now we've got all blood all over it. Once they sort of stopped the bleeding, was just waiting for the plane, and then we finally heard it come in, and then I was just sort of couldn't wait to get on there and get to Adelaide. I was in a fair bit of pain still. I remember just landing and getting the ambulance from the airport, and it felt like it took 5 minutes to get the Royal Adelaide, and it just fell into place, and everything just ran on time.
In a city environment, obviously, the more services, you'll get to the facility quicker and earlier. In a country environment, and particularly in a rural, remote environment, as is what we were dealing with here, then obviously there's that tyranny of distance, time of the essence. If we hadn't got to Adelaide in time to save the tissues in his arm, then Richard could have been left with permanent disability and possibly amputation of his limb, which for a young fellow like that with his right arm obviously would have been devastating, but thankfully we got him there in a reasonable time frame. I'd
like to say thank you to everyone that was involved. Yeah, so yeah, so thank you everyone, Royal Flying Doctors and everyone that day that was there. Couldn't be happier. Yeah, sorry.